What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. So it's in the evening, as you can see. I thought I should share this video before I forget. I have some notes that I will be reading from on my tablet, and I want to share a series of why we always draw from the story of King David. Before he was a king, he was a shepherd, he was a son, he was a brother. And why there's so many parallels to his story when it comes to our lives. And I was reflecting how majority of the Psalms is David expressive feelings in terms of what he goes through in his life. And God is not too far that he shies away from hearing us out, from walking with us through pain, through betrayal, through disappointment, through rejection. David is an example of a boy, a young man, a man, an old man who voluntarily shared his healing with God. And sometimes when we're going through stuff, it's very tempting to not say much because we seem like we're not the perfect daughter or king, or we're failing God in our disappointment. But it's actually the opposite. God actually wants to hear from us. And that's why David is known to be a man after God's heart, because God welcomed him in his pain, in his winnings, and everything else in between. So today I want to share the first series to many of David's stories and how it relates to how he expressed his emotions in the book of Psalms. So let's start from the time he was a young man, young boy. This was before he was a king. He was a son to Jesse, a brother, young brother to his older brothers. And he was overlooked at his own house. Now David tended to sheep. He knew his place in his family, and he always seemed to help around, even when his father tried to hide him, when his brothers came out in the open and the prophet Samuel was there to anoint the future king of Israel. So in 1 Samuel chapter 16, David is not mentioned in the earlier portions of this chapter. He is out tending to sheep. Samuel comes in and is welcomed by Jesse in his house. Jesse is like, "They are my boys." And Samuel makes a comment. This one looks very tall, statue, looks like he could be a king. And God kept on telling him, "It's not the one." And he said this for a while, "It's not the one," until Samuel asked Jesse, "Are these all your sons?" And I can imagine there was a bit of silence until he said, "Well, there's this other one, but he's tending to sheep." Samuel says, bring him now." So already you are not considered in the pool of your siblings, as this man of God is there to send out a blessing to Jesse's son. Jesse does not even consider David, okay? You are overlooked at such a young age in your own house. Let's look at the Psalms. Psalms 139 says, and this is David, "I am fearfully and wonderfully made. All my days are written in the Lamb book of life." Sometimes being overlooked at work, in your family, your friends, your associates, while less capable people are promoted. It is possible. David was overlooked while his brothers were sent out to be armies, and while his father always gave favor. Being overlooked while less capable people are promoted. This could mean in your life, in your job, you are overlooked, and your relationships, you are overlooked, while people who know nothing are being promoted. David went through all of that. And ultimately, his family didn't even recognize his potential. I want to tell you this right now. God will build you in rooms people forgot to invite you into. David was forgotten. And it's so tempting to think about this in your own life. Just think of a scenario in your own life where you have been left out in rooms, in invitations, in meetings, and you have been left out deliberately. It's not like, oh, I made a mistake. No, you were left out deliberately. And people actually think they are reducing your chances of being seen, promoted, being seen by that one person who sees your value. They think they are lessening your chances. That's what Jesse thought. But I want to proclaim to you tonight, this morning, wherever you are watching this video, that God will speak to your Samuel and say, is these the only people that you have? And those who have been hiding you will be forced to call you out. I prophesy that in the mighty name of Jesus, that where you have been hidden deliberately, made to feel less than, God is about to call you out. Okay? In the book of Psalms, it also says that the hearts and minds of kings belong to the God. He sways them wherever he wants. God can use the most likely, the most cynical, the most worldly leader to speak to you about you. God has a way of doing that. He did that with Daniel. He even did that with David. So if you are feeling like you are being overlooked, you are in good company. Have a good evening, guys. Bye. Stop recording.